Okay, we're back for another podcast. We're going to do our last podcast on anything with ecology, basically. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about symbiosis. All right, and we're going to talk about 3 different types of symbiosis. All right, now, up here I wrote the word symbiosis. Now, this is going to be an umbrella term. See, so I wrote my umbrella. I drew an umbrella right up here underneath the word symbiosis. So an umbrella term means is that symbiosis is on top here, and all of these other 3 words, okay, are going to be types of symbiosis. So, the umbrella term is symbiosis, mutualism, commensalism, parasitism are types of symbiosis. Alrighty? Now, when we look here, we're going to start with mutualism. And so mutualism is a type of symbiosis. Alright? When we say symbiosis, we mean a close interaction between organisms. So, organisms, we're talking 2 separate species of organisms. So with mutualism, I'll give you a couple of examples once we figure out what it is. Mutualism is a close basically a pretty personal, intimate relationship a lot of times between 2 organisms where they both benefit. Both benefit. So, with mutualism, it's mutual. So let's say you have a mutual hatred towards somebody else that you know. You hate them, they hate you back. It could also be a mutual likeness. You like them, they like you back. So, in mutualism, we see a mutual agreement. So, in this case where they both benefit, let's give a couple of examples. In this case, let's say you have a flower. The flower has a problem. The flower needs to get pollinated. The flower, a lot of times, doesn't want to pollinate itself. It's kind of like humans, people, animals. They don't want to pollinate themselves or fertilize themselves. So they go elsewhere to find somebody to help them. Alright? The flower needs to basically get pollinated, get that egg fertilized so it can make other little flowers. So, in this case, what can help fertilize or pollinate that flower? A lot of times it's a bee. Bees fly around, right, and they land on flowers. So what the flower does is it produces nectar. The flower doesn't really need to produce nectar. It doesn't really benefit the flower. But it secretes the nectar onto the nectary, right, onto a little part on the flower where there's that sweet nectar. And so the bee lands on the flower, drinks the nectar. Well, in the meantime, the flower has flower parts that hang over, and the bee brushes his back or brushes his belly on the pollinator, okay, where the pollen is located, the male part of the flower, and so the bee gets the pollen stuck to his body. So now the bee flies to another flower, and if that flower is the same type of flower that it landed on before, it will spread the pollen now onto the female part of the flower and help pollinate it. So the flower gets pollinated, and the bee gets food, gets the nectar. So they both benefit. Okay? Let's do commensalism. Commensalism is commensal. Okay? It's where one benefits, the other is unaffected. I call these moochers. Alright? Moochers. So it's like the friend, you always go to lunch, right? And there's always one guy borrowing lunch money. It's like, I'll pay you back. Never pays you back. Now, you might have enough money that it's not a big deal. Alright, so you just keep giving him money every day. It's not a big deal, but you still consider him a moocher. You are unaffected. It doesn't affect you to give him $1 every day for a drink, whatever. Okay, he benefits because he realizes he can depend on you and he doesn't have to ever get money. It's a moocher. Okay, so let's do some examples of nature here. Okay, commensalism. One benefits, one is unaffected. In this case, sharks. Let's talk about sharks. Sharks have many fish that will swim along with them. Okay, that's a little abnormal, you would think. Sharks eat other fish. Well, that's true. A lot of times, though, you'll have fish who will swim alongside the shark. The shark doesn't eat them. Okay, they don't really bug the shark. The reason they use the shark is for protection. So, if they're swimming near the shark, the predator that would normally eat that fish is scared away by the shark so they don't get eaten. Okay, so they're mooching off the shark's scariness. So the shark is unaffected. The fish swimming alongside doesn't affect the shark. But that fish benefits from the shark's scariness. Okay? That's commensalism. Okay, one benefits, the other is unaffected. Parasitism. This is a close interpersonal relationship between two organisms where one benefits and the other is harmed. So, here we have one that gets something that it needs, the other one is harmed in the process. So let's talk about many types of parasites you know. You know that word parasite. We're all familiar with the word parasite. Alright? So let's think of one for example. Okay? Tapeworm. So I had this friend. His dad was taking a shower. Okay, scrubbing himself, scrubbing. All of a sudden he notices something funny. Okay? He feels something sort of dangling, right, down from his backside. He pulls it off and notices it's a tapeworm. Pretty gross, right? In the shower, all of a sudden you have somebody tagging along, taking a shower with you. So he breaks the tapeworm off, doesn't think much of it. Tapeworm grows back. Had to go to the doctor, take medicine, okay, get rid of the tapeworm, kill it, okay, make that thing die inside of him, and then it came out naturally. Alright? The tapeworm was using him as a host. Tapeworm attaches to the inside of your intestine, it takes nutrients away from you. So if you get enough tapeworm inside of you, they can actually make you lose weight. Okay, they can make you not get enough nutrients yourself. So they can take away from you, they can harm you. When I have one tapeworm, many times I can have more tapeworms. They can actually clog my insides and make me have really big problems. Okay? The tapeworm benefits, I can be harmed. We know many types of parasitism in nature. Okay? So those are three types of symbiosis. It's debated that there might be more. Okay? We're only going to talk about three types of symbiosis. Mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. They are all types of symbiosis. They have different dynamics. Alright? So that's our podcast for today on symbiosis. Short and sweet. See you next time.